Okay, a couple of weeks ago I went to the States, and thank you, America, for the restricted rating. I got to see I got to see a multitude of films, really, but one of the ones which I wanted to talk about right now is Drive Angry 3D. I went to see it in 3D, and it's the gimmick of the moment, isn't it? It's always the gimmick of the moment. I mean, since Avatar came out, 3D, 3D, 3D. I remember my dad. I know I went to see a film. A little way after Avatar, and we were counting how many of the films out of the whole trailers were in 3D, and considering that 90% of them, it's a bit ridiculous, isn't it? Anyway, so Drive Angry. I wanted to talk about this because I've got a lot to say about it. So Drive Angry. It looks like the sort of conventional action movie. Who have you got? You got Nicolas Cage. I'll talk about the actors more in a minute. So you got Nicolas Cage. You got Billy Burke and some bitch called Amber Heard. I've never. Well, contrary to her name, I have never heard of her before. Honestly. Anyway, Nicolas Cage. I'm not a huge Nicolas Cage fan. There's three films. There's two films that I like of his. There's Next and there's Con Air. Okay, National Treasure. It was so boring. I don't fall asleep in films very much. Okay, and I'm surprised I fell asleep during Sherlock Holmes. But then again, I was up until 5 the night before. But National Treasure just made me want to rip my own guts out because I was so bored. It would have given me something to do. So, honestly, I'm always sceptical when it's Nicolas Cage in a film. Billy Burke, probably most, not sure really, probably most known by some of the twitards out there as, you good old Charlie Swan. Honestly, it's a bit of a contrast between roles. So you've got your nice sort of country Forks dad, and then you've got a fucking Satanist. Do tell me, juxtaposition to the max, basically. What else has he been in? Fracture, Fringe, Untraceable. Untraceable was alright. I don't remember him. I don't remember it much though. Anyway, so a brief overview of the film. You've got Nicolas Cage in hell, and it starts with him escaping. He literally drives. I've forgotten what the car was actually, but I think it was it's a Riviera, Buick Riviera. He drives out through the gates of hell and back into the land of the living, and it starts rather stereotypically with him brutally murdering 3 people who you have no idea who they are. Basic storyline, in a nutshell, you've got Billy Burke as Jonah King, a complete insane person, who's killed his daughter and her husband, and kidnapped his granddaughter, and plans to sacrifice her in a Satanist ritual that will bring hell to earth, basically. A bit stereotypical, don't you think? It's a bit, well, not stereotypical, it's a bit cliched. Ugh. Anyway, so then you've got, so he meets Piper at a truck stop, or I suppose it would be a truck stop, and obviously Piper's the sort of cliche badass girl who, you can just see all these. You can see all these cliches coming out. You've got the bad guy who's just some sort of religious nutcase. Not even religious. I mean, Satanist nutcase. I suppose that is a religion, but whatever. You've got Nicolas Cage being complete and utter, trying to be a bit too badass, if you ask me. And then you've got Amber Heard playing Piper, who's just she's a girl, and she just tries. What they're doing is they're trying to make a girl, and I'm not being sexist here, but they're trying to make a girl who who's the sort of badass. She's like the secondary badass, but it's always the secondary badass. You rarely ever see a girl as the first badass. So you got things like Tomb Raider and all that, and you know, and obviously it's a bit cliche. She basically the first 5 minutes he meets her, and she pretty much tells her boss in. I suppose this would be the censored version, pretty much, fuck off, stop sexually harassing me, and she quits her job and all that, and goes back, finds her husband sleeping, anyway, finds her husband sleeping with another woman, and then he starts beating her up when she beats him up, and then Nicolas Cage shows up and beats her. It's all the same, you know? But anyway, so, obviously, you can understand where it's going. It's, Nicolas Cage going after the Satanist, trying to get his granddaughter back and kill him. There were some. I was watching the film, and it's a huge. It's one of those films with so much violence and exploitation and milking of the 3D, just so that they can get high quality death and imaginative deaths. It's one of those. I would call it delightfully shit. You know, because you watch it and you're laughing and you think, "Oh, this is a really good watch," and then there's this little voice in the back of your head saying, "This is getting such shit reviews. This is not going to get anywhere in the box office," which, according to Wikipedia, it didn't. It was a complete It was almost a complete box office bomb. Sorry. One of the things which I didn't like, about halfway through the film, Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard come up on the group of Satanists who you've got the main Satan Billy Burke there, and spoiler alert, Billy Burke shoots him in the eye and kills him basically, and she's crying and all that, and they kidnap her, try to convert her, blah, 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 blah. And then, obviously, he gets up, and he comes after her, and then he heals later. And then, later, at the end of the film, Nicolas Cage looks like he's about to die. And she's doing the classic thing, she's dropped the badass thing, and she's crying, and she's taking the baby, saying she'll look after it as if it's her own, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so you've seen the fucker get up once. Why can't he get up again? Huh? Why are you just assuming that this is the end of the road for him? He got shot in the face, love. He got shot in the fucking face, and he got up. Now he's been shot a few times in the stomach, and he's got beaten up with his daughter's own fucking femur. But that's, you know, he can get up from being shot in the head. Why can't he get up from that? And you know what? He did. Yeah? So, tell me, where does the sense come into that scenario? That you know he can get up and that sort of thing, but you assume he won't and walk away, and then he gets up and fucks off back to hell with the accountant. Now, that's something I've neglected, that I've neglected to talk to you about this film. The accountant. He's not the main antagonist, okay? Billy Burke plays the main antagonist, the Satanist. I'll call him Jonah King because that's his name. The accountant is, I suppose you could call him a demon or a hell. You know, he's from hell basically, and he's there trying to get Nicolas Cage back and bring him back to hell and all that. And he, despite being despite William Fichtner, is that how you pronounce his name? I don't know. Despite William Fichtner being ever so slightly old, like 54, a bit past it, but, you know. I mean, you've seen older people, but William Fichtner just doesn't seem like the type. Anyway, he has some of the most amazing parts in the film. So, for example, killing Piper's cheating boyfriend with a baseball bat. He comes up to him with a baseball bat, tries to hit him. The accountant grabs it, snaps it in half, and stabs him into the wall, and then just to shut him up at the end, because this guy's the total country guy. He's all like "son bitch" and all that sort of stuff. And he just to shut him up, he throws the baseball bat into his head, and he gets a couple of people killed. And then after all that stuff with the there's a big bit where the cops, because the accountant gets 2 cops killed by Milton and Piper, Nicolas Cage and Amber Heard, and so the cops are all trying to stop him. And there's this one bit where the accountant's about to get Milton back, and he power slides he's driving a fuel truck to the tune of "That's the Way I Like It," and doing this stupid stereotypical little lip syncing and dancing like an old guy, blah, 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 blah. And he power slides it, trying to kill Nicolas Cage. He just walks out onto the bonnet, and also throughout the whole film, he's got the coin, which he flips and then shows the FBI badge. But the coin takes the better part way into the film, where he uses it to kill these 2 guys. It basically throws it into them. It's just unexpected. And it's quite funny. It's nothing too special. The point is, as I've said, Drive Angry is delightfully shit. I went to see it, and I was just sitting there thinking, this is so good, but only for now. Because, give or take about a week, maybe 2, and this actually happened, give or take a week, maybe 2, I'm going to sit up one night and I'm going to think, what the fuck was I thinking enjoying that movie? So, if I'm going to make a recommendation here. If you like one-hit wonders, if you like things that I suppose are delightfully shit, go watch it. Okay, because it's a thrill ride, and you will laugh, you will whoa, you will do the general ooh when someone gets their head blown off. But honestly, don't look to it for any sort of in-depth entertainment, because that will get you nowhere. You do not want to go and see Drive Angry if you want a serious film. Yeah. So that's the first video done. Just